It's Saturday, and that's sports day here on Hexed Encountered. Welcome. I'm Joe, and today we're going to be doing a video on the game Face to the Mat, a pro wrestling game. This is from Plaay Games and is designed by Keith Avellone. Now, this is a more of a narrative game, as is the case with some of the Plaay games. They use qualities and storylines and things like that, and it kind of generates itself in a way. It's very, very cleverly done. As is typical of Keith's designs, he's very creative and does things that are kind of outside the box for sports games, and that's one of the reasons why I love his game so much. So we are going to take a look at this game, go through an event, and have a couple matches probably, just to kind of show the game, and then we'll talk about maybe what I might do as kind of a series with this and some of maybe the other Plaay Games offerings. So let's get right down and start her up. Okay, let's take a quick look at components here. So you have your book here. This is, if you've watched any of the other Plaay Games videos I've done, you've seen the books that kind of have chart lookups, highlight reel L, for example, highlight reel M. You roll your two dice and you look up the result in here. So there's just pages and pages of this. And this is where a lot of the storylines get generated. As you know, because this is a very story-oriented narrative type of game. Then you have two boards. Here's your main board for the match itself. And up here you have the hot box. And there's some grudge match and cage and, so on in here as well. Where you can have allies of both wrestlers as well as foes and grudges. And so there's grudges and all that. And we'll get into that in a little bit too. There's also an out-of-the-ring action chart here. It's fairly straightforward, fairly simple. It's 2 to 12, so you just roll two dice, add them together, and you get a result in here. And they mostly favor the leading, whoever's ahead, the leading wrestler. So when the action goes outside the ring, you can roll on this. And you can also make it so that you have to stay in the ring, have DQs and DQ or no DQ, and so on and so forth. The wrestler cards, I should say. So here is a wrestler card. This is the Big Grabowski. Now I'm using the 70s set, and we'll get to why in a little bit, but we got the 70s set here. You can see some basic info at the top. He's got a quote and his real name. Then you got his ring name, his height and weight, and his hometown. And then you have his qualities. So just like a lot of the other Plaay games, the wrestlers have qualities. And then the symbol next to them is also something that we've seen before, but in this game it means something it basically means kind of, is it active or not, based on where they are on the board. So here on the board, you can see there's circles and squares. And if we look at this, and you can see strong has a square next to it. So if the Big Grabowski is on a square, then his quality strong is active. If he's on a circle, it's not. Stars mean it doesn't matter. Circles or squares, either place, he has that quality. So those are always on, essentially. Then you have a specialty, size 16, big boot, 3 points. And his finisher is below this taco stand, airplane spin and toss. And he hits that on an 11 to 45. And at the bottom here, you can see 70 set. This is card number 6 and the copyright 2020 Plaay Games, right? So there are 42 male wrestlers in this 70 set and 12 females. And what I'm going to do is, one other thing before we get to that. We have this card here. Now, this is kind of the 20th anniversary edition is kind of what I have. The 5.0 edition, it came out in 2020. The original game, I think, came out in 2000 or so. And you used to have to write on the cards, the wrestler cards. Now you have this secondary card where you can mark their TV grade, which is basically a measure of their popularity, and then their grudge number, which basically is how high profile they are in your organization. So basically you're running a wrestling federation, and so you have shows with various matches, and things happen backstage and the pre and post match and all that stuff. And it's very evocative of the way pro wrestling actually is in reality. So you do get that with this, but you mark your TV grades, which rank from AAA down to F, higher being better. And that really equates to what kind of moves they can do on in the ring, as well as a few other things. But you also have spots for allies and foes and some basic info, additional info. So you would write, say, B in here and 1 or something. Then the number for the grudge can go negative as well. So you might have somebody with a -1. It's almost like a heat level kind of thing. How hot they are, how high profile they are in your organization, whereas this is more like a telegenic kind of thing, I guess. And they change over time. So this card sits underneath your wrestler card, kind of like this. And you can put it in a sleeve or something so you can keep it organized, and then you'll be able to say, okay, so he's an A with a 4 grudge or something, and you'll always have that. And you write it in pencil so you can always erase and change. So what I wanted to do is, and I'm just going to do in this video, is just going to be a couple matches so you can see the game being played. That's it. And then after that, I'm going to probably start some kind of my own federation where I'll run matches occasionally. I'm not sure how often. It's kind of like the same thing I've done with the racing game. That's kind of on hold right now because the number of views declined significantly. So those take a while for me to do, and it always becomes a calculation based on the effort and time involved versus the amount of viewership it gets. So the best way to ensure I continue to do stuff like this is to watch it, spread the word, so other people watch it. The more views I get, the more likely it is I will continue to do it. So we have a pawn or a meeple, if you prefer, for each of the wrestlers. You can also have tag teams and cage matches and three-man bouts or 3-man matches, I guess, and things like that. You'll always have a favorite and an underdog. You'll always have a face and a heel, basically, as well, depending. And so, everybody has a role, and there are stories, and you have grudges that kind of generate themselves organically based on what happens in matches and what roles you make and things that come out of your highlight center book here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run a really basic event with two matches, and you have a score sheet here, right? The official event score sheet. So I'm going to start in 1974, and I wrote March 2nd, 74. Our venue will be in Chicago. I'm not going to worry about where in Chicago. And we're going to call it Midwest Mayhem. You can also have celebrities in the crowd. We're just keeping it really basic for this video, and we'll worry about celebrities and everything because it would be cool to go back and think of who was hot in the 70s and have like Buddy Hackett or somebody in the audience. That would be kind of cool for me. I remember them from when I was a kid. I was very young in the 70s, but I do have some memories of it. And obviously there's plenty of tape of television things that happened in the 70s. So we'll have two matches. They'll just be normal matches, and then you'll be able to record your pre-match, whatever happens pre-match, match highlights, the result, and then any post-match activities that might take place. So having said that, let's get this thing set up. All right, let's get it started. So the first thing we do is roll for the pre-match. Okay, so we're going to roll 1 die. And we got a 6. And a 6 is go to highlight reel R. So we come in here, and then we roll again, and we use the black as the first digit and the white as the second digit, and we get a 33. 33 is go to highlight reel S. So we roll again. Luckily, S is right next door here. And this time we get a 43. Yeah, 43. 43. If face wins match, gains choice new quality. So I'm going to mark that down on my score sheet. Okay, so Grabowski's the face. If he wins, he gets to have an additional quality. Now the qualities are what's on the card here. So there are I think 12. And he does not have all of them. Yes, there are 12 different qualities in the face to the mat wrestling game. So he could take something like powerful or quick or smart or something that he does not have. Okay. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Grabowski is the heel and Haystacks Hill is the face. So Haystacks Hill would get to, just looking, he's heavy. I mean, he's mean and cheat. He has those qualities, so he's going to be the heel. He does not have any negative qualities, so he'll be our face for this match. And the second match is going to be the Duke of Whirl against Doc Off Rocker. Now, I chose these guys specifically because our match is in Chicago, and he's from Illinois, and he's from Indiana. We have another Indiana guy in Doc Off Rocker who'll be in the second match. And the Duke of Whirl is from England, but that could actually be a persona, or he doesn't necessarily have to be from England. We all know how wrestling works. All right, so the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to flip one of these cards. And we get mean. And so you check for the mean quality. So since Grabowski has the quality and Hill does not, he scores 2 points, so we move him 2. And then we can roll the die here and get a 6, and that tells you what if we look at the card here, you can see there at the bottom, 1, 2, you can go 1 through 6. There's always 6 listed here. Throat strike was the move he made. Note that there are 2 sides, so you can kind of rotate them as you shuffle to kind of mix them up. There are 2 results each card, essentially, on this fast action card deck. All right, so then we flip another card, and we get TV, and this is based on the TV grade. Now, with TV grade, you look at the TV grade of both guys. I assigned them both a B, and I rolled for their grudge rating. So Grabowski's a 4, and Haystacks Hill is a 3, so it was going to be between 1 and 6. And I rolled a 3 and a 4. So when you have a tie, as is the case here with both of them being a B, the first tiebreaker is which one is trailing, and that is Haystacks Hill. And then all you do is you look at the grade, which in this case is a B. So he gets 2 points, and then we can roll the die again. And again, we get a 6, and this time it's a side suplex is the move. So he has 2 points now as well, and then we just continue to do this strong. Now, they both, actually, yes, well, Hill has strong with a star, and Grabowski has strong with a square, and he's on a circle. So he's also on a circle, but because it's a star, it's always active. So in this case, Hill gets the point and goes 1, 2, 3. Now, you can also have out of the action, and you can put a marker on the track, and if they land on that marker, they throw their opponent out of the ring, and you can go to the out of the ring action. We're going to leave that out for this, okay? We're just going to assume that this is just a normal, everybody stays in the ring wrestling match. Things were a little more straight in the 70s anyway, so it wasn't quite as over the top as it is, as it got to be in the 80s and later. So we're just going to kind of play this relatively straight for this first match. So we go on to the next card, Wildcard. So the wild card brings into play less frequently occurring wrestling results. When a wild card is drawn, you go to the wild card event chart in the game book that corresponds to the kind of match being conducted. So we come in here and we find wild card ring matches, which is what this is. It's just a regular ring match. And you can see there's a page for cage. There's a page for tag team. And is that it? Tag team. Oh, hardcore is the other one. So those are your 4 main types. So we roll our 2 dice. And we get a 44. So we find 44, which is on the second page. And it says helped ? Outside help disables opponent. Wrestler. Well, we don't have any help because nobody is really set up. Choice, wrestler makes unscheduled appearance in ring to aid opponent. Opponent scores a certain number of points. I guess for the sake of this particular demonstration, we'll explain kind of what we could do here. You could take, say say Grabowski's the favorite. He's also the trailing wrestler. So let's say it's him that gets help. He's also the heel, so it's more likely he might get help. So let's say Nick Kanicki, who is, actually it's Bananas. I have this backwards because I had them backwards in my head when I put these out. And notice I don't have TV cards for these guys because I didn't generate any rates for them. I was going to do that later when I set up my federation. So Nick Kanicki could jump in and do something that would award some points to Grabowski. I'm not really sure how you determine how many points they get for this, so I'm just going to give them 2, I guess, and we'll go on. Another wild card, so we'll roll again, and we get a 43 this time, and I know it's on the first 2 pages, and a 43 is cheat, question mark. Cheat wrestler scores immediate win with blatantly illegal tactic, then issues grudge match challenge, go to hot box. So we do have a cheat wrestler, that is Grabowski. It is a star, meaning it's always active. So he wins on a blatantly illegal tactic, and then he issues a grudge match challenge and goes to the hot box. So next we would roll for our post match. And we get a 2. 1 to 4 go to highlight reel X. So we grab our book, go towards the back because that's where X would be. Then we'll roll. And we get a 22, and a 22 says go to highlight reel Y. And we get a 45, and a 45 is hot box ally of deleted wrestler interrupts TV broadcast with stinging verbal blast, increase ally TV grade by 1 letter grade. So basically Bananas Foster here goes on TV in the post match, and the result is that Haystacks Hill's TV grade is going to go up by 1. I'm also going to increase Grabowski's grudge grade by 1 as well, and he's going to go up here in the high grudge area. And so to do that, I mean, you just take your scratch card out and you edit it, basically, with your pencil. So I'm going to change this to a 5. And then he would go up here, like that. And Haystacks Hill becomes an A. And I'm going to put him in here, too, because he's got a grudge grade. So there are 2 highest grudge grade guys right now. And that is how you do a match. And then you would write down kind of what happened, which I did here on the score sheet. So normal match, if the face wins, gains choice quality. The face did not win, he lost. Grabowski won on an illegal move, issues a grudge challenge. I put illegal in here. Doesn't really matter that much, but we know who won. Grabowski won. Post-match, I'm going to write in here about Bananas Foster interrupting the post-match recap. One thing I neglected to mention, and I've reset the hot box for the next match as well as the match itself, is this grudge match instructions area here. So it says grudge match challenge issued by current wrestler, and Grabowski did that as part of our wild card result. So he was going to challenge Bananas Foster, who was the ally of Haystacks Hill. So Bananas Foster will be taking on the big Grabowski in a future match. And that's how that works. Okay, so here we have our new match. Our face and the favored wrestler is the Duke of Whirl. Both guys have TV grades of C, but his grudge is a 5. Doc Off Rocker is a 1. The Duke's ally is Kid Cowboy. His foe is Croc Wilson, should the hot box come into play here. Whereas Doc has Tucson Jones as his ally and Jerry Wayne as his foe. All right, so first thing we'll do is roll for our pre-match event. We get a 2, so we go to highlight reel O. We roll. And we get a 33, which is go to highlight reel P. And a 16 on P is favored wrestler delivers ear-burning criticism of opponent and opponent allies, increased TV grade 1 letter. So that is the favored wrestler. That would be the Duke of Whirl. So this is a normal match as well. And our pre-match, I'll jot it down. So I'm going to pause, I'll jot it down, and then we'll continue. Okay, I also shuffled our facts so we can get the match going here. We start off with TV, and his grade is now a B, and he's the favored, so you would check him. And as he is, I believe you check him first. Let me confirm that. Yes, highest grade. So the Duke of Whirl has he has a B now because of the pre-match event. So he's going to score 2 points. And the move was an airplane spin. So now we move to the next one. Object. Does either man have an object? Neither one does. So we move to the next, I believe. Cheat. Yes, Doc Off Rocker has cheat for 2. It's a star, so it's always in effect. And so he gets 2 points. And we'll see what he did to cheat. It's a 5. That is an illegal hold. Then we got grudge. So we look at the higher grudge grade, which also belongs to the Duke of Whirl. He gets 2. We roll to see what it was. It's a 6, and that is a neck twist. That sounds painful. Now we have smart, and you have the lightning symbol here, which means it's the wrestler who scored the last point. You check him for smart. He does have it, and so that is a 2-pointer. And let's see what it's a 3, and that is a reverse bulldog. And we have quick. Is either man quick? The Duke is quick as well. So he scores 3. 1, 2, 3. And now he's getting close to where we're going to have pin checks and stuff here at the bottom. Down here at the very bottom. So he got 3 for that. Let's see what that move was. It is a 6. That is a shoulder jawbreaker. All right, next. Helped, question mark. Now, to talk about the helped a little bit, there are 3 types. There's gang, manager, and valet. And you note that on the card for the wrestler. None of my wrestlers have that. I didn't do that in the previous match. I used it kind of off the cuff just to kind of show sort of how it would work by just taking the ally of one of the wrestlers. This time we're just going to say neither man has it, so we're not going to use it. But you can see here we would go to the highlight reel, and you have G, M, or V, depending on the type of help. So I did want to explain what that means. So now we go to grudge again, and again, the higher grudge belongs to the Duke of Whirl. That gives him 3. 1, 2, 3. He's now on a pin spot, which means he gets to try a pin. Let's see what kind of move he made first. It's a 5, and that is a cradle pile driver. So now he's got Doc Off Rocker pinned. Now is when you would you'd roll to see him try to kick out. His TV grade is a C. So here in the 3 count area, you can see AAA guys can kick out on an 11 to 43, AA 11 to 36, and so on. It gets lower and lower as you go. Fs can only kick out on an 11. But a C can kick out on 11 to 23, and you have 3 tries. So we roll a 65. That is a no. So that's 1. And he gets a 13 on his second roll, and he kicks out. So the match continues. TV. Now, again, he has the higher TV grade, so he gets 2 more points. So we get another pin attempt, and the move was a body slam. So he body slams him, jumps on top. He's trying to pin. We do the same thing again. We're going to roll, and he gets a 41, so that's 1. And he gets a 14, so he kicks out again. So Doc Off Rocker is playing it hard here. Now he gets smart. Now the Duke again has smart, so he goes to his finisher. Now his finisher is right on his card. So if we look at his card here at the very bottom, you see finisher, Her Majesty's Headlock, 11 to 24. So if we roll an 11 to 24, the match is over. He applies his finisher. If not, he goes back to this mark right here. And we got a 25. A 25. So Doc off rocker manages to get out of the finisher, and he gets moved back. So now we continue. TV again and again. TV favors Duke of Whirl. He's going to get 2 more points, and he's heading towards pin again. We'll see what he did here. Got a 3. That is a chin lock. Now we'll try the next card. Favorite. This is also the Duke of Whirl. So we're going to go to another pin check. And again, he needs an 11 to 23. And he gets a 23. So he kicks out on the first one. Let me try our next card. Heavy. Well, he's heavy. It's a circle. He's on a circle. So he actually scores, gets a point. And maybe he can start a comeback now. Now we roll again. Smart. Now, Smart is the Duke of Whirl, and he gets 1 for that. So he again gets to try to pin. And it's a 21 rather, and so he kicks out again. So Doc off rocker is hard to pin here. Helped by the last one to score. The last one to score was the Duke, but nobody's helped in this match, so we move on. Agile. Now he's agile. He gets 1 point. We go to the finisher again. Now if he can roll again, if he rolls a 24 or less, he wins. And he rolls a 55, so he does not. So he goes back here again. Specialty. Okay, so we check the cards for the wrestlers. So in this case, they both have a specialty. I think in this case, because he just got knocked back and he's the trailer, the tiebreaker would go to the trailing wrestler. So Doc off rocker gets to use his. He's got 2. Here, let's take a quick look at his card. So you can see there under specialty right here, there's an asterisk, rope burn for 2, and suplex bulldog for 4. And at the top, it says use rope burn if opponent is heavy. The Duke is not heavy, so he gets to use the suplex bulldog and scores 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's getting a little tighter here. And now we've got agile again. But it is with the who scored last mark. And in that case, I don't think it goes to the Duke because the last wrestler to score was Doc Rocker, who does not have helped again is nothing. Grudge. The higher grudge grade again belongs to Duke. He gets 3. 1, 2, 3. Goes for another pin. 41 on the first one. That's not going to do it. 43 on the second one. Last chance. 33. It is over. It is over. It took a while, but Duke pins Doc off rocker here to win the match. That was a good one. He got to the finisher twice and couldn't score it either time. The Doc off rocker kind of hung around and made a little bit of a late move, a late charge, but didn't quite get there. And so that does it. Let's roll for our post-match here. It's a 4. So we go to highlight reel X again. Highlight reel X, and we roll. And we got a 36, and a 36 on X is Hot Box Ally of winning wrestler compliments opponent. Reduce the ally's grudge grade by 2 points. Okay, so the ally of the Duke was Kid Cowboy. So the Duke's grudge grade is going to be reduced rather, to a 3. So he had a 5. He had a nice roll there when I rolled before the match. Now it's a 3. So that is basically how this game plays. So hopefully the video is relatively short, so hopefully you were able to glean enough information about how the game plays. There is a lot more to it in terms of various types of matches and tag teams, and obviously the longer you do it, the more immersive it becomes and the more things and storylines are going on in your universe, essentially. So speaking of universe, I mentioned this at the top, and what I'm thinking about doing is using the Play games, several of the Play games, to do kind of a 50 years ago thing. That's why I used 1974. It's 2024. 50 years ago was 1974. I was just a small boy at the time. I don't remember very much about 74 at all, but 50 years is a nice round number. We have 1970s wrestlers. There are 1970s cards for the golf game. There are 70s football seasons, 70s hockey seasons, 70s basketball seasons, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. 70s racers, all of that stuff. So I can do something in that vein using the Play games here on the channel. We'll mix it up. We'll play various things. I may play some offline and talk about it and do like a recap or something like that. I do plan on doing a sports video every Saturday, at least. That's my goal, is to have a sports video every Saturday. Now, I just started a new job. If you watched the channel update the other day, you would know about this. I just started a new job, so that impact on my free time is kind of an unknown factor right now. I'm still feeling my way. It's brand new. I'm still learning, all the nuances of what my responsibilities will be and so on. So the goal, as I said, is to try to get a sports video done every Saturday, at least. So at least once a week, have some sports content. The majority of the content on the channel is going to continue to probably be wargaming. And of course, there'll be some video game stuff as well here and there. That's probably going to be the least featured genre, I guess I would say, here on the channel. So if you are interested in sports, and I'm assuming if you watch this, you probably are, look for a sports video every Saturday or so. If you are a war gamer checking this out, you can rest assured there will be plenty of wargaming going on, and there will always be at least one sports video per week, unless something comes up where I just can't do it that week or whatever. And I could foresee having a second sports thing, depending. It's all time related and how much time I have. And in a decade or so, when I can retire, maybe I'll do more. But that's still a ways off. So 10, 12 years or so until I can retire. Anyway, that's going to do it for now. Thank you, both, for watching. As always, I appreciate it. Please consider liking, sharing, or subscribing. If you are a subscriber, I do appreciate your support. If you throw me a like or a share, I'll appreciate that support as well. But even if you don't do any of those things, hopefully you'll come back and check out something else here on the channel. That is going to do it for now. This has been the sports edition of Hexed Encountered. And until next time, I'm Joe, and I want to wish everybody happy gaming.